Hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not. Welcome back to Birth Month 2026, and also welcome to the very first episode of 2000's Revisited. Now, a little behind the scenes information for you. This was not supposed to be the first episode. Uh, well, technically, it was, but it wasn't. I initially wasn't gonna do any kind of fanciness to this series. It would be in a playlist called 2000's Revisited, but it would just say like I Robot Revisited or uh Van Wilder Revisited, something like that. But I decided, why not give it a fancy name? When I did, I could do something with the thumbnail, Originally, today was supposed to be I was going to revisit Princess Bride in honor of Rob Reiner. I will still do that, just not yet. Because I decided, I'm going to go ahead and start this 2000 Revisited, and I'm going to do Without a Paddle. I put my copy of Without a Paddle in the Blu-ray player, and it was not working very well. It would start skipping during the previews, which is always weird for a movie. And then I couldn't get to watch the movie. I started to realize I don't think I put in the DVD since I bought it off eBay. I think when I did my review, it was off of On Demand. When I did, it's the beginning of March, which is weird. So I think it was just On Demand, and I did it then. But have no fear, I still plan on trying to do Without a Paddle. A friend of mine, my friend Brandon, has a copy, his own copy. There's nothing on the disc. I looked at the disc. It looks like maybe there's like a film over it. I tried to weapon it with water. Nothing. So, he's going to borrow me his copy, and we'll see if that works. But that means I had to switch the two, because what I'm doing is I do a revisited review and 4 new ones, and then a revisited, and 4 new ones, and a revisited. That's what I'm doing. So I swapped Without a Paddle and iRobot around. So we're talking about iRobot this time. The movie came out in 2004, starring Will Smith. I know I say it weird, but that's how I say his name, Will Smith. I've always said it that way since I was a kid. Will Smith. Will Smith. That's how I say it. It's not Smith for me. It's Smith. Will Smith. That's how I say it. I don't know. I just how I do it. I've been a fan of Will Smith since... I've said it so much now it sounds weird to me. Since I was a kid watching Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and I grew up with these movies like Independence Day and Men in Black 2. I've even seen Wild Wild West, which I don't think it's that bad. I had fun with it, I like Will Smith, But 2004, he gave us iRobot, and I was ready to see this movie. I didn't go to the theater to see it, but I bought the DVD as soon as it came out. I wish I still had that DVD, because I had a clear case with a slipcover. You could take it off. I wish I still had that. I wish I still had it. I should try to buy the DVD, but I have 2 Blu-rays. I have the regular and the Steelbook. That regular DVD has the slip on, but it has underneath is the regular one. But yeah, as I said, hey, I have 2 copies of iRobot, so if one don't work, the other one better. I also think I have it on digital too. So, and that's another thing. Without a Paddle was not streaming anywhere. Not really. For free, I should say. But anyway, so iRobot is not based in any way, shape, or form on the book, on the anthology book by, where is it? Novels. the robot series. It has no connection, not really. Underneath the name, it was. Here's what I'm finding out here. It was the original screenplay written in 1995 by Jeff Vintar called Hardwire. It was an Agatha Christie-like murder mystery that took place entirely in one scene, in the crime scene, with one human character, FBI agent Del Spooner, who was Will Smith's character, investigating the killing of a scientist named Dr. Alfred Lanning, which remains in the movie. Interrogating a cast of machine suspects that included Sonny the robot, Vicky the supercomputer with a perpetual smiley face, the dead Dr. Lanning's hologram, plus several other examples of artificial intelligence. Originally, Walt Disney Pictures acquired this with Bryan Singer to direct. Now, in both ways, this might have been a very different film. Bryan Singer directing it, but also Disney, no way it would be. It would have been dumbed down for kids. They would have tried to make it PG-13 in some way, shape, or form. Unless they're gonna, I guess they do PG-13, but their PG-13 is very PG-13. There's barely any swearing in their PG-13 movies, you know. But no, I ended up at 20th Century Fox. Funny enough, it is now owned by Disney after the acquisition. So, and Alex Proyas was signed up as director, and you cannot tell that because they didn't let him do anything. See, I always get pissed when they hire a director and say, "I want you to direct a film, but don't do anything that you do as a director. Just make a film. Don't do anything you would do. Just no." Because if you look at this, you would not think of the same guy who did The Crow and Dark City. And I haven't seen Dark City, but I've heard enough about it. And Arnold Schwarzenegger was attached to this project, but he's busy. And eventually I just kept getting pushed into film. Denzel Washington was also offered the film, and that would be something I'd like to see. But no, he turned it down. So, yeah. Vinter was brought back to rewrite some of the project and turned it into a big budget studio film that they need. And they decided to use the name iRobot and incorporated the 3 laws of robotics, which I guess are in the iRobot, and renamed the female character from Flynn to Susan Calvin. Akiva Goldsman was brought in late in the process to rewrite when Will Smith was brought in. They're suggested by the book iRobot, so it's not really an adaptation of any of the books at all. Like at all. The movie takes place in 2035, so 9 years from now. It's amazing how you see this futuristic time and you realize they're so close. Power Rangers SPD was set in 2025. I didn't know that until like last year or year before. It's like 2025. Really? That's when it's set? I thought it was set far further than Power Rangers Time Force, but no, this is 2035, and which humanoid-like robots serve humanity, protected by the 3 laws of robotics. It says I can click on it here. I want to know what they are. The 3 laws of robotics are a set of rules devised by science fiction author Isaac Asimov, who wrote that. The laws: 1. A robot may not injure a human being, or through an action allow a human being to come to harm. 2. A robot must obey the orders given to him by human beings, except where such orders would conflict with the first law. And number 3, a robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first and second laws. So there was those. Yeah. And we see Detective Spooner, as played by Will Smith, as he wakes up in a very an environment that would suggest this is not in the future, but it is. He turns on his stereo by remote. He puts on regular shoes. He does regular things. Not the modern comfort technology we present at the time. He goes over to his grandma Gigi's house to have some pie, sweet potato pie, which I never had, but I kind of want to. Every time I see someone eat sweet potato pie, I just want to try it. And I do like this line. So he, while eating the pie on a balcony, sees a robot. See, they just put the twist of why he hates robots right in the beginning of this thing. They don't even talk about the opening thing. See, that's why you gotta watch the movie. That's why you might say, "Oh, you're just skimming through this." No, because they miss things from the movie. This scene in particular, he's eating pie, and he sees this robot running with a purse, assuming the robot stole the purse. He tries to have a guy hold the pie. He's like, "Sir, hold my pie." He said, "Sir, hold it or wear it." And so he chases after the robot, only to find out that the robot was bringing the purse to the person this woman that owns him, because of her inhaler. Okay, but I don't know. This is to establish that he does not trust robotics. Robots. So, yeah. But he is brought to the crime scene of Dr. Alvin Lanning when he assumingly has jumped to his death. And this is the appearance of one James Cromwell, who we never see Cromwell. We never see Alvin Lanning as an alive character. He's post-death the whole movie. It's always a hologram. They have declared it a suicide, but Spooner, he's not so sure. Because Spooner is homicide detective, and this would be Schmooshmide, so why was he called? Why was he requested by Dr. Lanning himself before he died via hologram to investigate this? He talks to the CEO of USR, which, by the way, we find out that USR was founded in 2020. Ain't that some shit? This coming out in 2004. 16 years before that. The CEO Lawrence Robertson, played by Bruce Greenwood, reluctantly allows him to investigate. That was my businessman. But he's introduced to Dr. Susan Calvin, played by Bridget Moynihan. The one thing that always frustrates me with this, so every time he suggests that a robot is behind something in this movie, well, they can't do that. The 3 laws stop them doing that. Blah, blah, blah. There's one point where Bruce Greenwood comes in after they've arrested the robot suspect, which we'll get to it. Bruce Greenwood comes in and says, he can't be prosecuted. He's not human. And you are not allowed to go after him. And robots cannot commit crime. Now, we do later find out he's technically in on it. Technically. But from that point of view, if you're just watching this for the first time and don't know he's technically in on it, the way that they talk about these robots is that in no way, shape, or form is there a way around these 3 rules, these 3 laws. No way, shape, or form can it happen. Like every time he suggests that a robot did something, he's looked at it as if he's an idiot. Because it's like, and this is 2035. This is years from now. In 2025, we know there's such a thing as malfunction. Yeah, in 2004, when this movie was made, we knew about malfunction. It's a thing. And they just, no one at any point in this movie, when he talks to them about the situation, can fathom that a robot could malfunction. They just can't see it happening in any way, shape, or form. Right? And I'm watching this. There's a point where Spooner asked to pull up the footage from inside of the office when it happened. And Vicky, the robot computer lady, has a hard time pulling it up. And right away, I'd be like, okay, bullshit, something happened. You can't pull up that footage cannot be brought up. Clearly something happened then. But he's like, okay, show us the outside of the office then. Up till now. And I'm just like, wait, just about the... And not once does he bring up the malfunction as something that the robots could have done. He just accepts it and moves on. Because if you question that, because if they had questioned that, if either of them had questioned why that couldn't be brought up, they would have been led to the perpetrator of this whole thing, which, as we know, this is a revisit review, I'm still going through it as it's regular, is Vicky. And it from that moment, and I don't remember when I first watched it, but I figured it out. Because I think I remember the Vicky twist being... Because I think I suspected Bruce Greenwood. But... Anyway, like, watching it now, I'm like, oh yeah, obviously Vicky did it. Something's covered up, right? But here's my issue. We find out later that it was Sonny who did it. He pushed him through the window. So, why would Vicky cover that up? Because she didn't want it. The only thing I could think of is because if they saw that a robot could do that, it would ruin her little plan of the hostile takeover thing. Though, she could just activate all of them at that point. The only real reason why they don't do that is so the movie can go on. Right? Like, he has issues. He has issues. We find out that his issues stem from an incident where there was a car accident. Truck driver fell asleep at the wheel, which implies that there are other people. Like, she makes a big deal about how he drives manually. Even Chi McBride is like, you turned off your autopilot thingy, and I'm like, but clearly he's not the only one that does it. And it doesn't say how far back this was, but if they had the robots going, then it was still around that time, so he's not the only one. But the driver fell asleep, caused his car and another car to go into the river. To the river! To the river. A robot arrived to help and saved him, even though Dell kept telling him to save the little girl. But, according to the robot, Dell had a higher probability of surviving. She didn't. And I love his line of, humans wouldn't care. That's true. We don't care what the percentage is. We're going to try to save a life. Right? Well, the Han Solo that says, never tell me the odds, right? That's why humans will always be superior to computers. I'm sorry, computers. I love you. You helped us out a lot. But that's why there's always issues with algorithms and such shit. Because they can't... Like, computers are good for stuff. But there's other things you have to think of. You can't just go by common sense. You can't just go by what that says, because there's human feeling, there's human emotion. You can't predict certain things. Like, this person's going to do this. What he did was irrational. Why did he do that? Because that's the point. Humans have feeling. We feel things. We feel love. We feel hate. We feel confusion. We feel scared. And that's why computers can never replace humans. Because they just can't feel that. No matter how much you put it into the programming that they do, they still can't. Right? So Spooner begins his investigation. He goes to Lanning's house. But apparently you could just schedule a demolition in the future by computer. It starts to demolish the house immediately, even though it wasn't scheduled to be demolished till the next day. All out of nowhere, it just is. I want to point out Alan Tudyk's performance in this, because you'll never really see him credited for anything, and that sucks. It sucks, because Alan, you know why? He's credited, but he wasn't allowed to be credited in the film when it came out. Because when they did the test screening, he tested higher than Will Smith. Studio went, no, and took his name off of it. Yep. Ain't that a big slap to the face? There, I worked on the joke. You happy? Anyway. Alan Tudyk is really good at Sonny. I also like the robot chicken sketch they did this, where it was Mr. Spacely was murdered, and they interviewed Rosie, and it's Rosie going, I did not murder him. I like that. But it was actually Will Smith that did that. Yeah. And it's like all this, when he tries to explain to Chi McBride, like, hey, what's going on? He just will not listen, and he ends up dismissing him from active duty. I would also be remiss if I didn't mention Shia LaBeouf in this movie. And yes, that's how I say his name, Shia LaBeouf, in this movie. The running joke is that he doesn't know how to swear. What is the line that he says? I have a hot ass honey. Something. Quit swearing because you suck at it, or something like that. Like, he does come back later, but yeah. Sonny also has dreams. Dreams, and he draws out one of these that shows standing at what was once Lake Michigan, near a bridge, in front of a bunch of robots, which they at first say is Spooner, but we later find out is Sonny. That's it, right? But Spooner does investigate and finds the NS5 robots, that's the new ones, destroying the older robots. And this is where everything goes to shit. The robots start to take over, including Dr. Calvin's robot, his Gigi's robot. Yeah. So they are convinced that it has to be Bruce Greenwood. I forgot the character's name. Robertson. It has to be Robertson. They go to USR and find he's dead. So it wasn't him. Spooner has realized who it really was. Vicky. But it's okay, they have a man on the inside. Well, sort of. As Sonny is not dead. See, she was supposed to inject him in nanites to, I don't know if it kill him or just deactivate him, but it wasn't him, so he's still there. No, Vicky. Okay. Vicky states that she is determined that humans if left unchecked, will eventually cause their own extinction. And that is why we cannot have AI control things. It's the same thing about Ultron. With Ultron. And again, that's why I'm defending human beings. It's down to that one thing that robots do not have. Human emotion. Any kind of emotion. Irrationality. Right? That is why stuff like this happens. But it's gonna happen. And it's bad. It sucks. It really does. But it's gonna happen. And I'm not saying we should let it. We should fight back against this shit. We should. But we don't need robots to interfere for us. We should do it ourselves. It'll cost lives. Sure. But I feel like robots would only make the situation worse, as proved by this movie. Yeah. And that's why she created the new NS5s without the 3 laws, to ignore them, in order to protect humanity from themselves. Holier than thou, right? So, this is where Spoon realizes that Lanny anticipated Vicky's plan and created Sonny in order to arrange that to get Spooner. He counted on Spooner having the prejudice against the robots, and which would lead him to Vicky. More robots start to attack, though, and the 3 of them fight, but it appears as if Sonny has switched sides. But due to a trick that Spooner taught him earlier, they're able to rally and fight against it, and they have to inject the nanites into Vicky to revert the robots back to their regular programming and destroy her, I guess. It just says destroys. I was confused on what it did too watching the movie, but like, I guess it destroys her. Yeah. But after this is all done, what we do? Sonny committed the murder, right? He did it. But, as stated earlier, robots cannot be persecuted by the law. So, he's free to go. Right? He's free to go. And they cannot legally commit murder. So, yeah. So Sonny goes to the Lake Michigan, where he's on top of the hill, as was foretold, and the movie ends there. And I think Spoon and Dr. Calvin might become a couple. We don't know. There's supposed to be a sequel. We never got it. Let's see. Possible sequel. An interview in June 2007 with the website Collido, Battlestar Galactica, whatever we meant. Writer and producer Ronald Moore stated that he was writing a sequel to the film. In the 2 Disc All Access, Troy mentions that if make a sequel to the film, which he says in the same interview is highly unlikely, it'd be set in outer space. So we haven't. It's been over 20 years, so no. I do like though that they had like different sides. Like Spoon likes the old school stuff. He listens to Stevie Wonder and I think it's Aretha. He wears regular shoes. He does not like technology. Quite a contrast. Dr. Calvin loved technology. She goes to Spooner's place and doesn't know how to turn on his music player, CD player. The one line that always, I don't know if cringe is the right word, it makes me roll my eyes. When he talks about the new shoes that he got. Hey, I got his new shoes. They're vintage from 2004. And I just go, because that's when the movie was made. So they're vintage in this world. They'd be now too, I guess, but no. No surprise here. This is a pretty good. I've always liked this movie. Always have. It's one of my favorite Will Smith films. I don't know if I have 10, because I can't think of 10 of his movies that I've seen. Right? Men in Black. All three of those. I've seen those. I've seen this one. Independence Day. It's not in the second one. Am I blanking? Look up his name. Let's see. Will Smith. Oh, his music too. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, his music. I was really into his music. Acting credits. Filmography. Alright. Bad Boys. Yeah, that's another one. So Bad Boys, Independence Day, Men in Black. Wild Wild West I've seen. Men in Black 2, Bad Boys 2. Well, yeah, he was in Jersey Girl, but I Robot. I haven't seen Hitch yet. I have it. I Am Legend, that's a good one. Hancock. Men in Black 3. Haven't seen After Earth. Don't care to. Focus Concussion. Well, Suicide Squad. What are we? Some sort of Suicide Squad? Aladdin? Right? Bad Boys for Life. Bad Boys Ride or Die. Yeah? I don't know if there's 10 I can think of. There's some I haven't seen, like Legend of Bag of Fans, Ali, Enemy of the State, which I hear is good. Let's say Macaroni. Marconi. Oh, that's a David Macaroni. Anyway, what are your thoughts on iRobot? In the comments below, should I share and subscribe? Thank you for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.